Well, welcome to another edition of the Don't Argue. All thanks to Palmer Bet and all thanks to this man, superstar of the game. Look at him in the big black jumper.
Yeah,
He's
got the
looking
jumper
super
on. Nice
fit.
and woolly, nice and comfy too. It is, Matty. Just a little bit of crisp in the air, mate, at the moment, but has absolutely been teamy down here in Newcastle, mate, over the last sort of week, really.
Hey, kids, we're in the middle of our May racing carnival. So 3 days of jumps racing. It's been a huge three
Good
days, to say the
stuff.
least. So I've still got a little bit to go, mate. But I've got time for you because we want to talk all things
Unreal.
NRL. And last weekend, mate, it was the Broncos who come out. They made the big statement, and that was a big, big victory against the ladder leader, the undefeated Canterbury Bulldogs. They went bang. It all started with a magnificent first half.
Yeah, it was, Matty, and it was a convincing win. I mean, it was pretty shocking conditions up there. I think the Dogs might have dropped it off the kickoff, mate. So the Dogs did have their worst game of the season. There's no doubt about that. But the Broncos were certainly on, played to the conditions, plenty of cross plays, and handled the ball pretty well. Kicking game was good and won very convincingly. So, yeah, hadn't seen that sort of point score put on the Dogs certainly this year. So it might just been a little blip on the radar for Cameron Ciraldo, mate, and the Dogs. But see how they bounce back this week at Magic Round.
Yeah, Magic Round, of course, this weekend, and we can't wait. We're going to get to that a little bit later on, kids, because it is going to be an absolute sensational weekend. Hey, what about Penrith? Now, we've been banging on about this for weeks. Manly
Yeah.
with the upset last week. Are they in panic mode, kids? They've got to be surely now. It's just not working for
Well,
them, is it?
I think they are, Matty, at the moment. Like we're talking, what is this round nine at the moment? This round, and they're currently sitting last on the table, 2 wins. So that is panic stations. There's no doubt about that. They'd like to be, understandably, they've had a few injuries, like most clubs have. They've lost a few players over the last few years, really. But this is dire times for the Panthers, given the type of standards they've been playing to and the expectations that everyone's had on the Panthers over the last few years. So I think it is internally a little bit of panic stations at the moment.
Is take me back, but I reckon they were $251 to finish on the bottom of the ladder with the least wins. It was a ridiculous price, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden, if you had some of that, you're not a Penrith Panthers fan, you would be sitting back going, "I'm half a chance here."
Yeah, well, mate, I think the only chance you'd put that sort of bet on is if it was a mystery, or it was throwing the old dart at the dartboard. But
Oh
yeah, I
yeah,
don't
I
think
hate them.
anyone expected. Yeah, well, you hate them. Yeah, I don't think anyone would have expected them to be sitting where they are currently at the moment. I still don't think they'll finish bottom of the table, but certainly as far as making the semis, well, it starts to get a bit desperate over the next few weeks, that's for sure. And then
Mate, what
Origin
about
series coming up as well.
exactly? And they're going to lose players, and it's always an
Mm.
uncertain time. What about Sin Bin City last week, kids? 18 sin bins across the round.
Debacle.
Do you reckon, mate? Do you reckon the umps have got together and said we need to look at these things, or it just seems too much of a
Well,
coincidence,
100%,
doesn't it?
100%, Matty. It's ridiculous. They talk about, I heard Andrew Abdo come out. I thought he handled himself well the other day at his press conference and come on to NRL 360 and said, "Look, we haven't had a crackdown." Well, of course, they've had a crackdown because it was only spoken about sort of 4 weeks ago around players getting head high or getting concussed and losing players during the game throughout those concussions. So there has been a crackdown over the last 2 to 3 weeks for sure. But even if you go back a few years, buddy, do you remember they had a crackdown on Magic Round about, I reckon that was about 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, where
Yeah.
everyone got binned. Any type of head high, any type of contact with the head, everyone got binned, and it was a bit of a debacle that weekend for Magic Round. So I think they'll be wound back this week for sure because there's been too many frustrations from the coaches, the commentators, the fans on the back of last weekend, and there's a lot of grey area around, still contact to the head and whether it's forceful or aggressive. There needs to be a little bit of common sense, and if the players aren't knocked around, if the ref doesn't pick it up, if the touchies don't pick it up, then the bunkers shouldn't come in.
Yeah, I'm with you, kids. I reckon they're over officiating. It's as simple as that. And obviously, I think there's definitely been a discussion about the head being sacrosanct. They just don't want any of those high. But some of them are farcical last week.
No, some of them are
just yeah,
finger in the eye, and
yeah,
brush of the head. So there's got to be a little bit of common sense. And as I say, I think it actually has gone a little bit too far where players are trying to actually milk it now, which is disappointing to see. I seen one on the weekend, Militalo, the Sharks there, and he got a bit of a brush across the face with some fingers, and it was comical. It was almost like watching a soccer game where they want to lay down. So I thought that was one of the better ones where they actually didn't penalise it. And I think
yeah,
this week there'll be a bit more common sense around if there's accidental contact with the head, if someone slips over and hits someone's knee or a hand, then you'll be required to either hop up, play the ball, or go off and be checked without a
yeah.
penalty.
Couldn't agree more, mate. Hey, listen, tips. I got you again last week, big fella. 6 out of 8 for me, 5 out of 8 for you, Gids. I think your Knights are the ones that are letting you down, mate, at the moment. So
Yeah, they are.
just, I think I reckon we need to get the actual leaderboard, but I reckon I might be at the kind of 4 or 5, maybe even 6 at the moment, Gids.
Oh, 6. Come on. Yeah, but little running leaderboard, mate, each week would be nice, wouldn't it? Or every couple of weeks.
We need
The
it.
boys in the
Andre the
background
Giant.
to draft that up.
If you can sort that out for us, that'd be great because you tabbed me up last year, so I need to get myself redeemed. Hey, the kids get on last week. Yeah, the Bulldogs to win, mate. Montoya, anytime try scorer. And 1 out of 3 for yourself there last week,
Yeah.
kids. So the Bulldogs obviously going down wasn't the ideal start, mate, but you've been close. You're getting around the mark, and that's all that matters at the moment. And fair dinkum, I'm not doing the anytime try scorers now.
No.
So Turbo and Cobbo, they were the ones that let me down. Coates and the Hammer, they got across the line, which was fantastic. But it's a good way. It's a good multi, I reckon, the anytime try scorers, and you can get a bit of value.
It
But
is.
it's just they look easier than they actually are, to be honest. It's
No, I know.
not easy, mate.
Need to follow the highest try scorers, mate, to see who's really picking them up each week.
Hey, mate, let's turn our attention to, of course, this weekend's round of matches in the NRL. And it all starts Friday night. So there's no Thursday night for this because it's all Magic round. So all the games are going to be played in Queensland, which is fantastic. It's exciting. So Friday night, we've got the doubleheader Sharks v the Eels. And kids, they're telling me tickets have been sold out, but they're actually going to empty stadiums and then get the next lot of supporters in and stuff for certain games. So that's going to be huge.
Okay.
Well, it's just going to be because I think it gets a bit messy, obviously. And I think the same things happened in the AFL. Crowds kind of dwindled
Fans
out because they
leaving.
weren't following teams, stuff
For
like
sure.
that. So
not a bad way to do it.
So it all kicks off Friday night. Sharks v Eels. Head to head here, the Sharks $1.47. Eels at 2.69. The line is 5.5 points. Total points over under is 42.5. Stats and bits, we like the Eels have lost each of its last 5 interstate matches following a win, so the Sharks to win. The Cronulla Sharks have covered the line of each of its last 5 matches as favourite against Parramatta. So take the Sharks at the line. And each of Parramatta's last 5 matches at Suncorp have gone over the total match points. Multi those 3 up, kids. $3.10 at Palmer bet, mate. What are you thinking here?
Yep, I'm thinking an upset here, Matty. I'm going to go with the Eels, mate, straight out. Mitchell Moses back. I thought he turned around the team there. His first game back there a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, and I thought he had a big influence on the turnaround of the team, the confidence of the team, the game plan, kicking game, and I thought he influenced. It took a bit of heat off Dylan Brown. So I like Ioane at the back too. So I think he can open him up and help with just getting him some space. So, yeah, mate, I'm going on the Eels for this one as an upset first game of Magic round. I think the Eels can get it done. You get a bit of value there too.
69 head-to-head, kids at Palmer bet. That is value to start your weekend. I'm sticking fat with the Sharks. They were disappointing against the Tigers. They'll want to bounce back for mine. Moses is a massive in, obviously, for the Eels. But, Sharks to get the job done. It'll be tight, but they'll win. Roosters, Dolphins, Friday, 8:05 at Suncorp Stadium, head-to-head here. The Roosters $1.89, Dolphins $1.95. The line here is tight. 0.5 points. Doesn't get any tighter. Total points over under is 48.5. Stats and bets we like. Dolphins have won 4 of their last 5 matches at Suncorp Stadium. 8 of the Dolphins' last 10 matches have gone under the total match points. If you multi those two up, Gids, you're still getting 340. That's just not a 2-leg multi at Palmer Bet.
Yeah, 2-leg multi. That's nice value, that is. Mate, I like the Dolphins here, Matty. I know the Roosters have played some really good games this year and upset a couple of really quality teams up until this point. But I just think the Dolphins are coming into this game with a bit more confidence at the moment. I think their halves are playing better than the Roosters' halves at the moment. Nikorima and Isaac Katoa. Forward pack still strong and experienced. So, yeah, I think the Dolphins may can get this one done. I think it'll be a tight one. But I just like the way the Dolphins gone about their work over the last few weeks.
Mate, I'm the same. I'm a big Dolphins supporter, and I'm a big fan of the Dolphins, mate. And I love the hammer. I love Herbie Farnsworth. A couple of good goers in that team, and they got a bit of young talent coming through, I reckon, as well. So I'm with you, mate. I reckon $1.95. I reckon that's a luxury, to be honest. The Dolphins on the weekend, you're nearly getting even money. So Dolphins to get the job done in that one. South Sydney taking on your Newcastle Knights, kids. Saturday, 3 p.m. at Suncorp as well. Head-to-head here, South Sydney, $1.68. The Knights at $2.20. Line here, it's tight, 2.5 points. Total points over, under is 44.5 points. Stats and bets we like. Newcastle's lost each of its last 5 matches by a margin of 13 plus. That is not good, kids. So take the Rabbitohs 13 plus, and each of South Sydney's last 8 matches have gone under the total match points. So under total match points here. Multi those two up, 675. Gids, come on, tell me, how are you going to turn your season around here, Gids? You need to, and you need to do it fast.
Yeah, Matty, just be squeaky clean with coming back to basics and completing sets and winning the possession of the ball. That'll have a big influence on just energy. Completing your sets, brings confidence and belief because you're getting through those sets. You're tiring out the other team. Kicking game's a big one for the Newcastle Knights for all teams. They're missing Latrell. He's suspended this week, and I just think they can deliver on this game. They did it last year against the Titans Magic Round. It was the year before. They were under a bit of pressure. He came into the Magic Round against the Dogs, and Kalen Ponga started in that game again. So I think it's a big occasion, Magic weekend, and everyone's to perform. And I think this is the weekend Kalen's going to do it. They got Jacob Safudi, mate, back this week. Jacob's a real leader amongst the pack and a big body. So he's still hard to handle with his carries and makes some good, genuine yards and generates a quick play the ball. So, he brings experience and belief and confidence to the team. Dylan Lucas, mate, is back as well. Dylan's been out with a hammy for a number of weeks now. So those two guys, I think, can certainly bring some energy and experience and be pretty dynamic in their carries.
Mate, you nearly convinced me, to be honest. Good summation, Gids, but I'm sticking with the Rabbitohs. I'm going to tell you why, Gids. I actually think at the start of the year, they were going better without Latrell on the side. Yeah. So I'm going to run with that theory that I don't know whether they just all lift a bit or their structure's different. I don't know what it is, but I just reckon since the Trolls come back the last few weeks,
they've learned to play without him.
Yeah, I reckon they have, mate. So I'm going to South purely and simply on that. At some stage, I'm going to get on your Knights, mate. You know that, Gids. I love your Knights. Hey, so I'm going that way. Hey, Warriors taking on the Cowboys Saturday 5:30 at Suncorp. This will be a good game. Warriors head to head $2. Cowboys $1.84. The line here is tight 1.5. Total points over under is 47.5 points. Stats and bets we like the Kiwis, the Warriors. They've lost the first half in each of its last 10 matches. So take the Cowboys to win the first half. North Queensland has won each of its last 5 matches against teams on a winning streak, so the Cowboys to win. And 4 of New Zealand's last 5 matches in Australia have gone over the total match points. Multi those 3 up, Kids, and you get an even $4. Warriors have been good, mate.
Tough Warriors one to pick, this one. Warriors have been good. Mate, they're sitting 4th, Matty, at the moment. I think they got off to a bit of an average or slower start. I guess round, can't remember who they played game 2, but I thought we were just sort of questioning where they were at this year. But they're 5-2 at the moment and sitting 4th. Had a good win against the Knights there again last week. They've played some tough, gritty games and fought to get over the line and get a victory towards the back end of the game. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Cowboys, not with a stack of confidence. Cowboys currently sitting 6th, they're 3-4. I just think they have improved a little bit over the last few weeks and seem to be building on their belief and confidence as well. The Cows, so I'm going to go with the Cows for this one. Matty,
Dollar eighty
Cowboys,
four. You're
Cowboys,
humming and hawing there, and it is. It's probably one of the matches of the round. I'm sticking
tricky one.
Warriors. I'm sticking Warriors, kids. They're in form. Their confidence is up. They've got a chance now to go 6-2, and
Mm,
they're a realistic chance to really build this season. And top four, $10, $12 start of the year at Palmerbet.
yeah.
It was a crazy price.
Well, the thing is, Matty, as we've seen, the Wars, when they get their support behind them, mate, they get that momentum and real belief that they're bloody hard to stop that momentum. That's for sure.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Happy to take $2, even money. Why wouldn't you? I think you just get that price because it's over here in Australia and it's up at Suncorp. Hey, the Tigers, they've been good. They take on the Dragons Saturday 7:45 at Suncorp. I can't catch the Dragons. They're head to head here. The Tigers $1.87. Dragons at $1.96. The line here, another tight one, 0.5. Total points over under is 46.5. Stats and bets we like. The West Tigers have lost each of their last 12 night matches outside of Sydney. So Dragons to win. Good stat. Six of St George Illawarra's last seven interstate matches have gone under the total match points. If you multi those two up, kids, you're getting $3.30. Another toss of the coin game for mine.
Yeah,
This one.
another toss of the coin. I watched that game closely on Monday, wasn't it?
Yep.
And I thought it was a really good game. Really good game, number one. Entertaining. Thought the Tigers looked sharp right from the start and again showed plenty of grit throughout the game to stay within the game and fight to get that victory. So, yeah, I think they'll take a lot of belief out of that win last week. It was a big crowd there at Leichhardt. Um, I thought it could have gone almost the other way as far as if they go down in that game on the back of some pretty 2 weeks of big headlines. I thought that could have been a real morale breaker, but I think it's done the opposite, and they'll be
Stealed them a
bouncing
bit.
around this week. Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to go with the Tigers, mate, on this one.
I'm sticking with the Tigers too, mate. They've been good. I reckon they've been more consistent this
Mm,
year. So yeah, I'm happy. And I reckon Luai helps that. Like
for sure.
he just gives that bit of
Lockie
stability.
Galvin, mate. He's
Yeah,
after Lockie Galvin being put back to reserve grade last week, and then all the external pressure around what's been going on the last 2 weeks. He delivered. I think he set up the first trial with a great half break and a tip on, and I thought he continued to deliver throughout the game. Made an absolute game saver and try saving tackle right at the back end of the game, like the last two plays, and it was a wonderful tackle, and did his role well and didn't overplay it.
yeah, spot on, mate. And great response by the kid, to be honest, because he's been under
It
so
was
much pressure. Yep, Tigers for both of us there. Titans for the Bulldogs Sunday 150 at Suncorp. Head to head, Titans $4. Bulldogs $1.25. The line is 12.5 points. Total points over under is 47.5. Stats and bets we like. Bulldogs have lost 14 of its last 15 matches at Suncorp. That is amazing. Wow, Gold Coast Titans to win. Favourite has won the first half in each of the last 9 matches between Gold Coast and Canterbury. So Bulldogs to win the first half. They're the faves. And each of Canterbury's last 4 matches at Suncorp have gone over the total match points. Multi, those three are Gids.
holy dude,
$23.50.
23.50.
Can the Titans cause a little upset and the Bulldogs lose two on the bounce? I don't think so.
No, I think that was a real off week from last week, and I heard Cameron Serraldo talk around his disappointment in just ball security and completing sets, and then obviously that takes away a fair bit of petrol, the amount of defending you got to do. So I think that was a real off week for him, and it was maybe a nice little reality check that can't just be complacent and roll up every week and expect to win. So I think they'll be back this week and be pretty steely with their defence and ball security. It's meant to be wet up there, I believe, again. So it's going to be important to get through those sets and high completion. So I think there'll be a big turnaround this week. I'm going to go the Dogs, Batty, even though the Titans have had a couple of decent wins this year. But definitely Dogs for me.
Yeah, Bulldogs will bounce back, mate. They're a good side. Even their second half was so much better against the Broncos, last week. So they responded and they needed to, and they'll get the job done. Have a look at this game. Gids, Penrith v Brisbane, Sunday, 4:05 at Suncorp. It is going to be huge. It'll be a sellout. Broncos are up and about. Panthers are 227. Bronx $1.64. Line is 2.5. Total points over under is 45.5. Stats and bets, we like Penrith has won 8 of its last 9 matches against the Brisbane Broncos. Each of the last 6 matches between Penrith and Brisbane at Suncorp have gone under the total match points. If you multi those two up, same game multi kids, $4. I know we're sitting here, we're waiting for the Panthers to kind of respond in some way, shape, or form. Is it going to happen this week? Broncos can be up, they can be down, they're inconsistent at times. What do you reckon?
Well, I don't think they can. I don't think you just turn around what's been unfolding over the last, eight rounds. So they've got a long way to go, Matty. That's for sure. They've still got a class team. They've got the best player in the game, Nathan Cleary. They've got wonderful fullback Dylan Edwards, Isaiah Yeo. One of the best players in the game again. So strong players and strong leaders, but with some of the players that they've lost over the off season, it's obviously starting to show. Liam Martin, one of my favourite players outside of the Knights, certainly one of my favourite Blues players, that's for sure. So they've got quality superstar there, but I don't know. But these guys have been doing it, being the leaders and setting those standards for a long time. Maybe it's a year where it's getting a bit harder. Maybe there's a few injuries. The bodies are getting a little bit older. It's hard to stay the number one contender year on year on year. What, 5 years in a row they've been doing that for? So
and they're really getting hunted, I think, now, aren't they? There's a lot of work going into beating them, and I think they've shown that they've been vulnerable in different areas, haven't they, this year, which they've probably got away with in the past, haven't they?
Mate, the vulnerability comes from experienced players having to leave because of salary cut pressure, and those guys, those experienced guys and the talented guys are being offered better deals elsewhere to, hey, come and do that job at our club now. So that's where the vulnerability comes, because the next guy who steps in is a little bit younger, a little bit more inexperienced, which they've been able to maintain success through that next person step up type mentality. But it's proven to be more challenging this year for them. I still think, mate, they've got wonderful competitive players like a Nathan Cleary, who will evolve his game again. Isaiah Yeo, he'll evolve again. Dylan Edwards, Liam Martin, all those guys are super competitive, and they'll just look to evolve their own personal game and their game plan to have success at some stage during the year.
So you're on the Bronx?
I'm still on the Bronx for this one because I need to see a bit more Penrith, mate, to see that they've turned it around and they can do it again.
I'm on the Bronx too, mate. They were awesome last week. They come to play on Anzac Day or Anzac Day Eve. And it was sensational. Hey, Storm v Raiders. It is our final game of the round, magic round, Sunday, 6:25. This is going to be a beauty too for mine. Head to head, the Storm.
Game of the round, I reckon. Match of the round.
I agree, Gids. And Raiders get themselves up for Storm. They're at $2.60. Line here is 5.5 points. Total points over under is 47.5 points.
I'll tell you something about, mate. The Raiders. I don't think they give a rat's who they're playing, to be honest, whether it's a Melbourne Storm, Penrith, or whoever. Like, they were down by 30, almost 30. I think it was 28. I was listening to this game on the radio last week at half time by the Dolphins. They were getting towed up at home, and then they come around, turn around in the second half and won the game.
So it's a real belief.
Blew them off the park. Yeah, there's a real belief. Yep. There's some real grittiness in their team. There's some tough and aggressive characters in their team, and there's some real talented players. So I think they're a tough, resilient team, the Raiders, and they're kind of still flying under the radar a little bit. No one's still sort of putting their head up and going, hey, no one's sort of looking at the Raiders as a premiership contender. They're still sort of flying under the radar as if they're going to drop off at some stage. But I see a real belief in their team.
And this is a good stat too. And you get, as I said, you're getting $2.60 this week, but Canberra's won 6 of its last 8 matches as underdog. Right, so you're right, Gids. That's exactly what you're saying. They do, mate. And each of Melbourne's last 4 matches at Suncorp have gone over the total match points. If you're two-leg, that's a 2-leg same game multi, $4.50 at Palmer Bet. So which way are you going then, Gids? Are you going Raiders?
I'm still going to go Storm.
Oh, I
I'm still
thought I
going to go
had you.
Storm. I just think, mate, Storm on a big stage too. They do thrive in these moments as well. Last game of Magic Round, I think Storm with the team that they've got named, which is experienced, and defensively, mate, defensively is going to be the I think the biggest battle in this game because we've seen the Raiders defend really gritty too, right from round one. And I think last week was a blowout score for them, but they competed well to get back. I know I heard one of the players speak after the game. They're still disappointed in the last couple of weeks' points scored against. But both coaches will want to win this game through their defence.
It's my roughie the round Raiders, but I'm not tipping them. I'm tipping me Melbourne Storm Gids. I'm not going to go against them. But my roughie, Smoky is definitely the Raiders. They can win, and they might well win. I reckon. But that is Magic Round games. Gids, give us your pick 8 for Magic Round, mate. What do you got for us, buddy?
Yeah, Matty, pick 8. I've got Eels, Dolphins, Knights, Cowboys, then Tigers, Doggies, Broncos, and Storm.
Love it, mate. 86.49 on the Palmerbet app. It is so easy and simple to get around and navigate, mate. That is good value too, Gids, just quietly.
Yep. A couple of outsiders amongst that.
My pick 8, mate. Sharks, Dolphins, Rabbits, Warriors, Tigers, Bulldogs, Broncos, Storm. 62.87. So a little bit shorter than yours, Gids, but still a heck of a nice price for the Palmerbet followers. What's Gids get on, mate?
Interesting. Mate, the Gids get on. I'm going to go 3-league multi, mate, again this week. I'm going to go I think the game of the round, Storm versus the Raiders. I'm going to go in a tight one. Storm 1-12. Harry Green out this week for the Storm. And I'm going to go anytime try scorers, Xavier Coates and Fayalogo.
Tell you what, Coates doesn't let you down very often if you chuck him in as an anytime try scorer, does he? Nah. He's a star. Absolute star.
Nah, he's a superstar.
$10.38, mate.
$38. That's it. That's the one. That'll be happy with that.
Good price, mate. Yeah, Palmerbet won't be happy if it gets up, to be honest, and everyone's jumped into it.
No, that's a nice one. I did just jump into my Palmerbet app and just throw a little bit in there.
Now, listen, I'm back to a 2-league multi. I've given me try scorers a flick, mate.
Yeah,
so I've just gone the West Tigers to win. So 1-13 in that it'll be a tight enough game. And Taruva, mate, he is in scintillating form. Anytime try scorer. So it's a 2-leg multi, Gids. I just want confidence.
Strip it back. Strip it right back.
$2.66, and I'll be happy to run.
Yeah, nice.
And just take it. Okay, I don't want to get too complicated. I've been trying to get $20 kind of for anytime try scorers up.
Simplify it, mate. Simplify it. You're on the right track there.
What's your lock for the week, Gids?
Mate, my lock for the week is Broncos.
Yep. Against Panthers. Wow.
Yep, I think so. At home, Broncos, 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Pretty good team named. Played well last week. Going to go Bronx. Lock.
I'm going against you with my lock. I'm going Friday night footy, first game of Magic Round. I'm going the Sharks to defeat the Eels, which you were keen on getting upset. So we've been going right too. We've been going right with our locks. And you can do this. It's the Punters Club. All thanks to Palmerbet. You can hang out with your mates, get as many as you want, get rid of a couple of mates if you don't want them in it. It's really, really simple to navigate.
Get rid of the bad ones.
That's it, mate. Hey, and download that Palmerbet. Put them in the sin bin, mate. If we were putting each other in the sin bin, we wouldn't be 18, I can assure you that.
No show.
Oh, mate. Hey, great week. Great to catch up. Magic Round's a great concept, kids. NRL have done really well with this, and it will be a fantastic weekend of NRL action up at Suncorp Stadium.
Certainly will, Matty. And don't forget, mate, the first women's Origin Thursday night this week.
Oh, that's snuck up on us.
That's snuck up. Origin girls will be pumped. They've been in camp for, 10 days or so. And this is their first competitive game of the year as far as NRLW is concerned. So they'll come out fired up, mate. That's going to be massive. So anyone in town in Brizzy, get to that game. And that'll be a nice way to launch the weekend of Magic Round, really. That's
unreal. Love it, kids. Hey, listen, mate. Gamble responsibly. That is the key messaging. And always think about what you're really gambling with. Gids, you have a wonderful weekend, mate. And I can't wait to recap Magic Round next week with you, buddy.
Absolutely. Thanks, Matty. You have a cracker weekend and all the best, everyone. Look after yourself.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.